It only feels right that we've got Carson Schwesinger with us because he's playing some incredible football right now. He is on a tackling tear, had his first career start last weekend against LSU. And what did he do? He led the team in tackles. He has led his team in tackles in 2 of the first 3 games this season. Carson, thanks so much for joining us here on the Bruin Insider Show. I'm Brian Fenley. We've seen a couple of your friends and a couple of your teammates come on here. So how does it feel for you to finally be on the program here and have a conversation?
I mean, yeah, it feels good. Anytime you're able to come out and share either part of your story, it's a good feeling.
For a lot of what we do, we share beyond the football story, and when it comes to that, you are one of 5 siblings, and you are in the middle. Is there an advantage to that, or is there a downside to that?
I think I always viewed it as an advantage because, I mean, one of my closest siblings is my older brother, and going up against him growing up, it was always he's bigger, faster, stronger, so I was always competing with him, and I think that's a lot of the reason where it transferred into sports where I end up getting to people my own size, and it becomes a lot easier than playing against my older brother. And then just having all my siblings around, we always were playing sports and things like that. I always viewed it as a benefit, yeah.
It's been a major benefit having you here at UCLA, considering the way that your stock is on the rise. You came in as a walk-on, little recruited. To see where you are now as one of the mainstays on defense, a guy that this team relies on heavily right now, that journey and what it took, even knowing what you could do, what still surprised you about what you've done since high school?
I think just seeing how the hard work has paid off. I think growing up, that's one of the things my parents really instilled is that, at the end of the day, putting your head down and just getting to work is going to end up getting you to where you want to go. And, there's times when you feel like maybe it's not going to work out or things like that. And just seeing that in the end, it really comes down to, how hard you're willing to work to get to where you want to go, yeah.
To get here, one of the first people at UCLA who saw your talent before others, knew that you could really bring something special to UCLA was our now head coach, Deshaun Foster. The first impressions he had of you, it sounds like he was pretty high on you from a very early stage.
Yeah, I think coming in, I was a walk-on, hadn't played a lot of linebacker before, mainly played a little bit of tight end and a lot of safety in high school. But he probably doesn't even remember it, but just small comments here or there when I was on scout team of him saying, it's a good player, or him talking to me after practice, things like that were things that really, gave me the confidence moving forward and something that, is kind of cool to see come to fruition now with him as the head coach and me in the position I'm at.
The position you're at right now is, as we talked about, you are a mainstay in the linebacking core, and there really happens to be a camaraderie there. They've got you and Kane Madrano and so many other guys. What is it like bonding within that position group off the field?
I think it's been great. I mean, since I got here, Kane and John have both been here since I've got here, and then Ale too is another one. So between us 4, they've known each other for longer, but between us for that last 4 years now, and that time just comes with you naturally get bonds. And then same thing with all the new guys coming in. We had Joseph Vaughn come in. That's been another guy who I've gotten really close with. And then the young guys coming up too, same thing. We're getting a lot of good young guys that are in. It's nice to hang out with them, which doesn't always happen. When you get new guys in the room. So we really do have a nice camaraderie between all of us.
When it comes to people you hang out with, your roommates, a lot of them are tight ends. Now, you're a linebacker, so how did you find yourself venturing into that room and really striking up a good conversation with those guys?
I think it initially started freshman year with Sam Suma. Me and him got close pretty early on, and then since then we were like, all right, whenever we move from the dorms, we'll be roommates. And then it started with just me and Sam, and then somebody will move out of our room, and then another tight end will move in, and now it's just me and the tight ends for the most part, a decent amount of the time.
Carson Schwesinger joining us here on the Bruin Insider Show. I'm Brian Fenley. Coming off a game when you're on an airplane and you're traveling, let's say you're coming back from LSU on Saturday. If I'm sitting next to you in the plane, What are we going to be talking about? What is that conversation going to be like?
Oof. I mean, it could go from anywhere. If it's after a game, probably we'll be talking about the game. Most of just plays here that could have been made or things like that. But other topics, I mean, I could go if there's movies on the screen, I'd probably start watching Pirates of the Caribbean. Start getting into things like that. Probably if you have more of a nerd side, I'd probably get going on a lot of things. So.
Where does that nerd side come out beyond sitting on an airplane, watching perhaps a movie that's on screen, coming off a game? Because you come from a very bright family. There are a lot of smart people. You're one of them. So being in such a group of smart people, how did that reflect on you?
Yeah, I think just having that around me kind of made it be kind of ingrained in me. My sister I'm not a huge book reader. She was always reading books, and I had older brother. He's really into the movies and stuff, so I kind of get bits and pieces from each of my siblings and my parents, and then kind of make it my own. But it also helps me bond with them, and yeah.
You're graduating. You still have another year of eligibility if you'd like to take it going into next season. As far as school starting now, with all the students on campus, what is it about managing time for you that you're able to get all of your classes in, plus fulfill all of your requirements out here?
Yeah, definitely school starting adds another aspect into football and life that can make it a little bit more difficult. But I think just going to school, I just know I need to stay on top of schoolwork, make sure you're going to class. Any conflict issues with school and football, go talk to the teachers, the professors before, make sure it's all figured out. But I think it's mainly just staying on top of everything is going to make sure everything's handled.
You're also staying on top of your social media game. On Instagram, you've got a ton of followers, but you're very selective about which pictures you post or what you post on your Instagram story. What goes through your mind in deciding, hey, this is a picture that I'm going to put on my story. This picture is up to snuff to then getting it going on your timeline?
Yeah, I think in terms of social media, I'm not a huge social media guy. So I think I really only have 8 total posts since I've had it for probably 5-6 years. But I think usually the posts will come from either a picture that I think is kind of cool, or sometimes you go somewhere cool with your family. I like having pictures of my family in there too. Just things like that.
This football team has been like a family for you. I want to leave you with this last question. Carson Schwesinger joining us here on the Bruin Insider Show. You're 3 games in. What's been your most favorite moment with this team early in this season so far?
I think it's probably hard to just pick one moment, but I just think, like you said, even with the back room and even the tight ends, just having all those closeness, you get so many moments together that when you're with each other for so long that it's more than just getting out to the field. You have all these bonds. We're in the meeting rooms, or when we go back home and we're just hanging out in the apartment, where you get those moments that you're never going to forget, You're
never going to forget this talent as well. He leads the team right now in tackles from walk-on to stud on the field, and we tackled a lot in this conversation. Carson Schwesinger, I'm Brian Fenley. Carson, thank you so much, man. This is awesome.
Thank you.